Today was Sunday. How was your week? I hope we actually had a very, very wonderful week. Yes, we asked for forgiveness. My of my friends actually telling what email they were actually telling me that there was a glitch with the Facebook one that you couldn't get it. So I'll just do a little, just like 2 minutes recap on what actually do, and we're sorry about that. But if you still want to listen to that, check that on. I'm talking now. We are live on Periscope, we're live on Instagram, and I just want to tell you a little recap of what happened last week about forgiveness. About forgiveness, we're actually just talking that we should learn to forgive one another. We should learn not to have any grudges against your spouse. There are some people even that have grudges against their children. It might sound strange, but that actually happens. There's some mom that's just finding it difficult to forgive their children, and also there are some singles that find it difficult to forgive their spouse. Maybe one way or the other, the spouse have actually, the partner has left them to move on. But last week, what we actually said is that we should learn to forgive. We should learn to forgive one another. And I just want to appreciate my friend there, Fumi Gopola. Thank you for joining in. Thank you. Today we're actually going to be asking questions. You can type your questions, because if some of us are actually just joining for the first time, I just want to tell you that it's very interactive. You can write, you can type, you can contribute, or if you want to ask questions, I can actually see you. So I will take time maybe just to come in to answer you. Like I said that about forgiveness last week, we said something. We said that God said we should forgive. It's not that it's a choice that you. It's a why do we need to forgive? We actually want to forgive. Our prayer can be answered. And we want to forgive so that we can have a clean heart, because the partner of the spouse that you actually are something the person done. And the worst case scenario is that you're together in the same roof and you're still thinking of what he did or what she did to you about 5 years ago, and you're still in the marriage. Hope you know definitely that is not going to work. So we need to let go for things to gain the ground and for everything to be perfect. That's about forgiveness. So Elder Larry, thank you for joining in. Anthony Itolabiyi, thank you for joining in. Temi Omoluwasomi, thank you for joining. Thank you. And today, we're actually going to talk about how to have 5 good steps. We're talking about good relationship. So what do we really talk about a good relationship? Oh, fine, I know there are different things that happen. So we're not perfect. I'm not saying, oh, because you have a perfect marriage, or I don't have a perfect marriage. But what we want to do now is just that we want to walk towards perfection, because our God that created us is perfect, and he said we should walk towards perfection. So I'm going to give you some 5 steps. If you have a pen, if you have your paper, you can actually jot down the 5 steps that we want to talk about in having a good relationship. The first one is that make time for your spouse. Make time for them. Do you know what? I know we're all very busy. We go to work, we come back, and we're very tired. Communication one the other time. I said we should make time to talk together. We should make time to gist about the day-to-day activity. What actually happened at work? What just make time. And there's some people, which is a very good one. I realize walking is very good when you actually walk together. Actually, I do that once in a while, but you know, sometimes I just get lazy to do it. But we started again about 3 days ago, because I wouldn't tell you what I don't do. I'm telling you what is working, and and due to some people I've actually spoken to and cancel, I know it's actually working too. What do? In the evenings after work, we walk around together. We were actually holding our hands and we're laughing. We're just talking about different things. We're talking about things that happened, and you know the way it is now in this world, we can't do without using our phone, using our iPad, laptop, computer. We're always on it. That is not time for your spouse. Time for your spouse is when it's just both of you, that you are talking together. You're talking about way forward. You're talking about things that happened yesterday. You're talking about things that happened today. You're talking you have time for him, and that's why you have time for him. And remember, that, okay, like so person, but you know that sometimes you just need to just relax. There's nothing bad in watching the Chelsea with him, or the Liverpool club game with him. Fine, you are not a fan of that. Maybe you are the fan of the one that you're always watching one movie. I'll just take, for example, my husband. He loves horror movie. I don't like it. But do you know what I do? Sometimes I just stay there and I'll just tell, please tell me when something bad is going to happen. Let me cover my face. And they like this animal panel, these natural things. And I've grown actually to like them. So you learn to do something, because let me tell you something, and don't have the habit, men, women, don't have the habit of actually leaving your man or your woman sitting room and you going to the sitting room. It is not a nice thing. It is a very bad attitude, and it's a bad practice. I'll just tell you, even though he's watching that film and he's watching that channel that is not interesting to you, why don't you just relax back, just put your shoulder on him, you understand, and just watch it with him, and after you go to the bed together, because these are the little things that actually matter. Welcome the that are there. Tony Okakbo, you're welcome. Batunde Shoyombo, thank you for joining. Owen Cook, thank you for joining. Evelyn Day, thank you. Yemisi Olubi, Said, Dr. Said Ali, thank you for joining. Thank you. So, and Lanre, Elder Lanre, thank you for joining. We are welcome. We're actually talking about 5 rules to make your relationship work. And the first I've actually spoken about time, creating time for yourself. I know you've all had a busy day, and after that day, what I was saying is that learn to work together, go for a walk. Separate, put the phone somewhere, put the iPad somewhere. The children have gone to bed. You have time to talk together. You have time to share notes. Don't assume that your wife knows it. And that is why most women are not happy. And they are not happy in the relationship. And most men too are not happy. But they are not talking because of there's no time for one another. So that's exactly what let's learn to create time for ourselves. And that's the number one, the first one. So we can take our pen and be writing. And the second one I want to talk about is that appreciate them. We appreciate our spouse. We're appreciating our girlfriend. We're appreciating our friends. We're appreciating the person we're dating. And how do you mean by appreciating them? Appreciating them is that you just say nice things to them. You don't take your spouse for granted. You don't take them for granted. Don't take that person because you've actually been going out. You've been going out for like 5 years, or you've been married for like 20 years, and you just think, oh, yeah, she knows she's beautiful. I don't need to say it. We need to hear it every day. Like I said, the women, because we are the everyone, the women want to hear it every day that she's looking beautiful, that she's looking fine, and also it's the men. The men want, do you know what the men want? The men want reassurance. The men just want to know, oh, you're my head, you're doing really well, you're doing good. Before I continue, because I might actually forget there, I just actually want to appreciate my head, my lover, my sweetest darling, my pastor, my reverend, Oluwarotimi Oluseun Ogbele is just a brilliant person. Without him, this will not be possible. And I want to appreciate my children too, my Dola, for giving me the opportunity. So we need to appreciate women. You just think that, oh, they know it anyway. We need to say it every time. So that's exactly what I'm saying. You adore them. What do you mean by adoring them? In the present, you don't need to buy a big present. Like what happened last week. I'll just use myself as an example. Last week, of course, when you do this kind of talk, sometimes you want to be tested, and so don't think, oh, because everything is fine, everything is rosy. But there are some times that I have challenges too. Last week I was just a little, and you know what? We went for a walk, we talked with everything together, and guess what? 2 days later, I got a beautiful trainers. Oh yes, if you make the man happy, he will do things. It doesn't have to be your birthday before you get a little present. And same the other way. Now, next week is Father's Day. All the women in the house, don't say, oh, after all, he's only still promising me marriage. Oh, yes, promising you marriage. But why don't you send the hand of giving to him? And the women in the house, don't say, he didn't get me anything on Mother's Day. Oh, yes, he didn't get you on Mother's Day. Have you thought of it, that maybe he was a little bit broke? He didn't have enough in his account. So don't say because he didn't give me, I am not going to give him. So Father's Day is next week Sunday. I'm actually just remembering all the sisters in the house now. Go out there this week and make it a duty to get a nice, lovely present for your husbands or for your spouse. Those are the kind of ones that actually love. And like I was saying, I'll just appreciate people that are here now. Oh, Bumi Ogunyo, well, thank you for joining. So your Sadebanjo, thank you. Harold Wells, thank you for joining. Tomiwa, thank you. Okpayemi Kowe, thank you for joining. We're actually talking about 5 things that can actually make your relationship a good one. We've spoken about time. Now we're on appreciating them. We need to appreciate one another. We need to adore them. We need to make sure, we need to let them know that they're actually indeed wanted. Let them be the king or the queen. You know, there is a way you can actually do, because people are saying relationship or marriages, there's no. I think I made a mistake. No, didn't make a mistake. What is this that is? What were you doing when you were actually dating? What were you doing that you're not doing anymore? Is it those little cards that you send to him? Or is it those lovely text messages that you send to him every morning or every afternoon or evening? What were you actually that you doing? That is exactly why some marriages or relationships are having hiccups now. So, and I just want to tell you that there is a trying moment for every relationship. But what we need to do as an individual is that we need to be determined to make it work. We need to be determined that it needs to work. We just want. Let me tell you something. You don't think that you've made a mistake, because it's even there in the Bible that you think that you actually, as I heard them say, so I'll do. Sometimes we just confess negatively to our spouse. We just say something bad. We don't appreciate them. We just say, oh, anyway, I wasn't expecting him to do otherwise. And you're in marriage. How do you want that man to flourish? How do you want that woman to have the potential in her? Because you don't even believe in her, you don't believe in him. So we need to believe in our spouse, because you are in that marriage. You don't have any choice than to actually believe in that man or that woman. So what I was actually talking about, I'm talking about you appreciating your spouse. I'm talking them. I'm talking about, remember, just think, without them you cannot survive. Because like I said earlier on in one of my talks, that the men are the head, while the women are the neck. And remember, without the head, the neck cannot stand. And without the neck, the head cannot stand. So we need to work together. We need to work together. We are not in a competition. Remember that, husband and wives. We're meant to put everything together as a team, to work together as a team. So, and when we think like that we're working together as a team, things will work faster. And I just want to talk about something now. It just came to me. I know some women's issue about mother-in-laws. Yes, there are some mother-in-laws there that can be really terrible. But let me tell you, remember, we have children, we have boys too. We're going to be mother-in-laws one day. So that mother-in-law is not good. But there is something you can actually do. There is no one that God has created that is 100% bad. Note that from me. If a woman keeps saying negative things towards you, why don't you keep praying to God and keep making her happy, and you keep doing good things? And I know with time that mother-in-law will change. And do you know what? Don't ever sit down with your husband, because now we're talking about mother-in-law. I just branch into that. Don't ever sit down with your husband and say negative things concerning his mother. Remember, before he knew you, the mom has been there. The mom has been number one. So there's a way you balance it. There's a way you keep appreciating. You just tell your husband that I know mom is a bit tough, but I know she'll be fine. You just learn to give that woman love. Remember, when we condemn our mother-in-laws, we are going to be mother-in-laws one day, and you don't even know. Maybe it's exactly what you're doing now that is affecting the whole thing. What we're saying today is not about mother-in-law. There will still be another time for that now. What we're actually talking about, we're talking about have a good relationship. And I've spoken about you. For people that have just joined, I'll just say we've spoken about we have time for one another, we appreciate one another. It was during the appreciation that we spoke about mother-in-law. And the third one is that we should trust our spouse. Oh yes. Before I continue on that topic, I just want to appreciate people that are there. Ayomida Shadele, thank you for joining. Deniji Adele Obikoya, thank you for joining. Titi Shoyemi, thank you. Monica Edosa, thank you for joining. Gloria Chinyori, thank you for joining. And I just want to say, we trust our spouse. Yes. I know it can be very difficult, yes, to say to trust. You can say I'm smiling now because I can hear some people saying, how do I trust someone that is not even faithful to me? How do I trust somebody that I've actually met in a funny, in a flirting around with girls, or is flirting around with boys, with men? Because it could be vice versa now. I'm actually just talking, I'm neutral now. But you know what? If you want that marriage to work, if you want that relationship to work, you need to trust one another. And that trust actually extends to our children too. Some of us have teenage children that when they're going out, let us trust that where they're going is actually where they're going. I'm not saying don't do a little bit of checkup on anything, but you will know your children. I'm rating that trust to children, and I'm rating it to spouse. So if you're actually here, maybe you're a single mom, it's going to benefit you. If you are here as a married person, it's going to benefit you. I'm actually talking about trust now. We need to trust our spouse. Those are one of the important things in marriage, because if you don't trust them, fine. You've actually realized he has disappointed you before, or she has disappointed you before. But remember, we've disappointed God and we repented, and God has forgiven us. So who are we not to trust them? And don't think because he's not back from work, usually he comes back home at 7 p.m. and he's not back till 7:30 or 8. And you think, oh, he has started again. That's exactly, or when he wants to start flirting, that's exactly what he does. Don't think that. It might be a terrible hold up on the way. There might be an accident on the way. Something might have happened. Why don't you take your phone and just text him that I know you are well, that I'll see you soon, because you'll not be able to pick your call. So don't say you've been calling and your phone is going to voice. You realize that the person might actually be at a place that there's no reception. If you want to have a good relationship, we have to trust one another. If you want to have a good marriage, we have to trust one another. If you want your children to trust you, if you want your children to call you a good mom, a good father, we need to trust children. They wouldn't want to disappoint you. And once you trust your spouse wouldn't want to disappoint you. So I just want to welcome the people that are here. I want to welcome Binko Oladimeji. I just want to welcome Her Excellency, my wonderful mom, Kema Chikwe. You're welcome. We're actually talking about 5 ways good relationship. About time, we have time for one another. We've actually spoken about to trust one another, and we're talking about appreciating one another. Where we are now, we're actually on trust. And we said, remember, it is if that person actually wronged you, that doesn't mean that you should continue judging him or her on that note. We need to move on. Like last week, that what we were discussing last week about forgiveness. If you don't forgive, it is a choice that do I want to forgive. Like I said last week, it is a must. It is compulsory for you to forgive, for your prayers to be answered, for you to be able to connect to God. You have to let go. So that's when I said, when you forgive, you'll be able to trust. Because I must tell you, marriage that doesn't have any issues. We have one issue or the other. What we need to do, we need to learn how to trust. You need to trust the man, you need to trust the woman. You can see how you have faith in God, because without that, you understand, because even God said, you said you don't have faith, you don't have faith in the person that you're seeing, that's in the man or the woman that you see every day, you them, and you want to trust me. There is no way that person is a liar. You need to actually trust the person that God has actually put beside you before you say, oh fine, I want to trust God, I want to live for God you. Okay, I'll just quickly welcome the people that are joining too. Karen Ngozi, thank you for joining. Sola, thank you for joining. Funke Kupla, thank you. Johnson, thank you for joining. We're talking about 5 golden ways to have a good relationship. Okay, so saying about this, next one is that we need to respect. Every woman, every man want to be respected. I'll tell you that. We all want to be respected. How will you feel if you're actually in a gathering and your husband just shout on you and just embarrass you? Or how will you feel if you're in a gathering and your wife just shouts on you and just embarrass you? How will you feel? Or maybe you are talking to him and he just ignored you completely. We all want to be respected, and remember that respect is actually reciprocal. We respect one another, and when we respect one another, you actually bring out the good thing in them. You bring out the greatness of the person. There is no way that you respect someone that person will shout back at you. No. If you're the kind of person, maybe you're used to not respecting your spouse, and the thing about it is that you don't even respect your spouse at home. Your children see that you shout on your spouse. Your children see that you shout on another. If your children role model, you're not making those children to look forward to a good marriage. You're not making those children want to marry. There are some of us there that are just so bad respecting men or respecting women. We just feel, oh, it's the right thing for us to just it's the right thing for the women only to respect the men. It's vice versa, please. And do you know what? Don't even ever try to insult your spouse. What I mean by insult is that there are some little things you say in the bedroom that doesn't really matter. But when your spouse is in front of the children, or maybe when your spouse is out, or maybe your spouse is at his place of work, remember, it's no longer your spouse. Or maybe I will not talk to the pastor's wife now. Maybe your husband is actually a pastor and you are in the church, you are actually disrespecting him. No, remember that your spouse is the head whenever you are outside. And remember, because don't get carried away. Fine, it's always joyful, it's very friendly, but we need to do something. We need to do something. Sorry, someone is actually saying that just shared. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for that. Candy Adex is actually saying he shared something, my video. Thank you. We can actually comment or we can write as I'm talking. I'll just come back to that once I finish it. I was actually talking about you can share your friends, so that as I'm actually talking, people can be listening, because this is not just only about us, it's about everybody. We're talking about respect now. We want to honor our spouse. We want to do as if without them there is no else. If you do that to anybody, there is no way that person will not praise you. There is no way that person will not go out of his way to actually treat you. And it's someone here in Europe, when some men will come back from work, fine. Remember, the man has been driving. There's no driver to drive in, and he's coming home. You are in the bedroom already. I know you want to work. We are all tired, and you just say, "Oh, dear, just take your food in the microwave. Your food is there." No. He doesn't want that food. He's not even hungry. He just wants your company. He just wants your romance. He just wants your affection. He just wants you to just know that, oh, there's someone at home. He just wants to, okay, fine. It's not the microwave I'm getting married to. My wife is there. And remember, there are some days that we are tired. So men should understand too. If the man gets home first before the women, there is nothing stopping the man to say, oh, darling, I've actually made the food. So it's not about who makes the food. It's about, is the food ready for us to eat? So we need to respect one another. We need to show love. We need to show compassion. We need to show affection, because those are the things that spice up marriage. And I just want to tell you something, that if you're having one challenge in your marriage or the other in your relationship, have you really sat down and think, what was I doing when this lady was courting me, was dating me? What was I doing when the man was actually dating me? There must be something that you were doing that made him to say he was going to marry you. There was something that you were doing that made her to say he was going to marry you. So why don't we go back to what we were doing before? Why don't you go back and just check on and say, fine, to go back to our first love. We want to go back to the way we started. Fine, let's forget about the financial issues. In this world, there are lots of things going around now. Finances is one of the things that's causing it. There will always be crisis. It's not that I'm saying rubbish or I'm blaspheming, but we know what? If two are together, we can move mountain. When we agree together, when we do things together, we can actually move mountain. So remember that what are we now? we're talking about how do we have a relationship. We're talking about 5. Let's just quickly read some things that people are saying there. Oh, thanks for joining, Olabinso. Thank you. He said career and better now. Thank you. And he said, please remind our ways next day is Father. Oh, yes. Then you have actually done that. Mr. Idowu, I've done that before you came in. He's actually telling me that I should remind our women that next week is Father's Day. That's them talking there. And it's true. Like, you know, when I said, women, don't take your man for granted. Like when I said earlier, I said next week Sunday is Father's Day. If you don't actually bought him something, it is not too late to get him something. And like I said earlier on, because some people are just joining now, don't say because he didn't give you a Mother's Day present. Like I remember with a friend, he said something. He said, you can only get love when you show love. If you don't show him love, you can't get love. And if you don't show her love, let's say for example now the man doesn't know, or maybe we're not listening to this relationship talk during Mother's Day and he didn't give you anything. There is always going to be lots of Mother's Days. But you start with this one next Sunday. Look, it doesn't have to be expensive. It's just your heart. Look for something nice, a lovely card, and just appreciate your spouse. Look for it and just being a good father. Thank you for being a good husband. So that's about that. I've actually said that. We're talking about 5 good ways of having a good relationship. We've spoken about time for one another. We've spoken about we should go out for a walk together, and we've spoken about appreciating one another. And we've actually spoken about we should appreciate one another. And the next one I actually want to talk about now, I said we should be able to know that we're there for one another. Let's see that we actually want it. You don't flirt around with people. That's the number 4 one. Don't flirt. Don't flirt with other person's wife. Don't flirt with other person's husband. Because women, yes, and maybe some men are not jealous, but women can be very, very, should I use the word possessive? Yes. We don't even want anything to share our man. Imagine the man is now flirting with another woman. How will you feel? You don't feel good. And it's also the other way. You can imagine if your wife is flirting with another man. You're looking good, you're looking handsome, there's nothing bad in complimenting other people. But have you complimented your husband first? You're going to the church, you're going to the mosque. Oh, you're saying, oh, Emmanuel, you're looking good. Did you say that to your husband after dressing up before going out? Did you compliment him? Did you appreciate him? Like what I said. Let us feel that we want one another. We'll flirt. Don't let words with people, because women don't like it. Maybe some men will just pretend. I know men don't like it too, but sometimes men can actually really matter. It's only just saying that. But what I want to say is that let us appreciate, like I've said in the appreciation, let's appreciate another. Don't let flirt with words. Don't let flirt with attitude with another. Because you need, and I need to say something, you need to believe in your relationship. You need to believe in your marriage. If you don't believe in the marriage, you know that marriage is finished already. If you don't believe, there's no use staying in that relationship, because it's still a relationship. You're still planning to date. You're still dating. You can actually quit to look for where you can have your belief. But if you're in a marriage, like the Bible said, that what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. You don't have a choice than to work out. And I just want to tell you, all the married people in the house, you don't say negative things with your mouth. Fine, your husband is not what you actually were when you were dating. But remember that maybe something happened. Like some men, when they are broke, you don't want to see their attitude. When they're broke, they're actually something else. They just lose it. They lose everything. Maybe their attitude, their good approach and everything. But you know what? Because you are the woman, you need to calm him down. You need to give him assurance. That's exactly what I want to say again. We need to believe in our spouse. Imagine what I'm doing now is the ages that I've been said I was going to do it. And my husband said, it is time, I need to go ahead. And my children believed in me too. Imagine they didn't believe in me, and we start getting testimonies from this talk that people are saying is working for them in their marriage. Imagine I'm still there and there's nobody to encourage me, and I'm still feeling very timid, and there's some days when I just finish, I'll just say, oh, I didn't really do well, and it will just encourage me, and it will just say, you've done well. I'm not saying fine, we don't have our challenges, we do, but we keep on working on it every day. We keep working on it every day. Don't over celebrate other people's husbands. Don't over celebrate them. Did you celebrate your husband? Don't over celebrate other people's wives. Did you celebrate your wife? Did you? What I'm actually saying about it is that we need to appreciate one another. I just quickly want to read and welcome people that have joined. Omo, thank you for joining. Dupe Adebo, thank you for joining. Buki Onigbogi, thank you for joining. Suri, thank you for joining. Sukomi, thank you. Sukomi just said, please, if one is doing everything right and return is always disappointment, what do you do? Advise the person doing the right thing to do. And for me, thank you for joining. I'll just answer you there, Sukom. If you're doing something right and you keep realizing that the person is not responding, you know what? We don't get tired. You keep doing it. You keep doing that before you say, oh, fine, I'm trying to walk in the right way now. How many times have you wronged God? How many times do you keep saying, forgive me, and we're still doing the same thing? So even the thing you're actually doing, maybe that person don't even know that he's doing the wrong thing. Let's continue. Don't get tired. Like what I said about mother-in-laws. There's some mother-in-laws that there can be a little bit of issue. But because we have children too that are boys, and we are going to be future for mother-in-law, why do without mother-in-law you won't be married to your husband? Just think of the love you have for your husband and give it to your mother-in-law. Fine, you keep doing the same thing to her and she keep giving an attitude. One day she will change. And as you're doing it, you're also praying. Today we're talking about a good relationship. And we spoke about time because of people joining. I'll just quickly say that. We spoke about we should have time for one another. We should celebrate one another. What time for one another is when you have time, you work together in the evening after work for one another. You appreciate one another. That's the number 2. Then you trust your spouse. Stop doubting your spouse. You respect one another. And that number 4 is respect one another. And like what I was actually saying now, I said we don't flirt with other people. Respect is, and let me tell you something. If you respect your spouse, you wouldn't even flirt with somebody else's wife or with somebody else's husband. That's why I said respect actually covers everything. And I want to tell you something. Let's bring out the hero, the hero in the man instinct. Let's bring out that hero in their instinct. You know, there are men that they just need a little bit push. You just want, my darling, you're doing well. They just need it. And same vice versa. Men, let's bring out that hero in that our women. Let's tell them you're doing well. Even there might be some bad days that you need someone to talk to. You can imagine you're coming home and you know getting home to your spouse is going to be something else. And your spouse is already calling a friend that is going to console her or him. Why don't you be the first person your spouse is going to call? Why don't you be the first person your spouse is going to say, oh, I had a very terrible day at work today, and darling, how do I do it? How do I do it? You know, there's some days, I'll just tell you my own story. There's some days that really bad, and I'm just like, especially sometimes when I finish this talk, sometimes I just, oh, I've forgotten this point, I didn't say this. I'm just feeling bad. And you know, I just tell my husband, because like I said earlier, remember, in communication, your husband, your spouse should be your best friend. And I'm just, how did I do? I didn't really feel good. I think I still need to do more. And you know what? It will just encourage me. And there's sometimes he will laugh, and I'll just, you know, of course he's human, and when he's laughing, he will say, I'm really serious, and I say, please don't laugh, this is actually making me really feel bad. And he will just say, no, honestly, darling, you've done well. That is what I want us to do for one another. I want us to continue. Man has disappointed you before, because the woman has disappointed you before, don't say you're not going to trust him. You can't have a trust if you don't have a good relationship, if you don't trust one another. And if you don't forgive another, you cannot have a good marriage. And what I just said today, and some people are still joining, thank you very much. I'm actually on YouTube. I'm on YouTube, so you can actually watch what I've been talking about. You can share the video, and we're just talking about relationship today. We're just talking about 5 good ways to have a good relationship. Remember, you respect your spouse. Remember, you talk together. Remember, you have time for one another. Remember, don't flirt with somebody else's spouse. It's wrong. Nobody wants to hear. Praise your man. Praise your woman. Appreciate them. And just remember all these 5 things. If you keep doing it every time, you will have a good relationship. If you keep doing it every time, you will have a marriage that people will say, I want, and they will be using your marriage as a point of contact to God. Remember, you need to have love. Remember that God is love. If you don't see God, you love God, how come you're still staying in that marriage with bitterness? Why are you still staying in bitterness? I just want to tell us today that we should continue loving one another. All the single parents there, let it go. Forgive your partner and move on, and God will definitely give you another chance. There is no time that is too late for God to do. And I just want to say, you're raising those children alone. Remember that God is your strength. Remember that it will be there for you. And for the married couples, next week Sunday, we're going to talk about fathers, and we're going to talk about lovely things fathers are doing. I'm going to talk about some wonderful things too. Don't let me say negative things they're doing. But we know our men will not disappoint us. And women in the house, don't forget to buy lovely things for your husband, and you can share and like the link. You can share and like it. I'm on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Periscope, and the Lord will bless us and He will keep our home. Let's go out there and have a very romantic week. Let's go out there and have a very wonderful week. Let's go out there and have a week. No complaint. Don't let's complain at all. Let's go out there and just keep loving. It can be difficult, but let's put it to trial. Don't forget the messages, those lovely text messages. Don't forget to continue loving. Don't forget to continue appreciating, and don't forget to continue communicating. 5 things that I've said, you can actually check it. People that are just joining us, thank you very much for joining. Jola Yemi, thank you. Bukonigbogi, thank you. Thank you for joining. Pelo Juwale Sukomi, thank you. Thank you for joining, and have a nice day. And do you have any question? If you have any question, I can actually see. Oh, somebody is saying that he needs a Mercedes Benz. I'm sure your wife can actually get that, and he will get you a Mercedes Benz for next week present. And remember, good relationships are hard work. Remember, not all the days will be going on well. If you have to be tolerant. You have to be tolerant. Remember that. That's all. That are not going on well, but we need to be tolerant. We need to appreciate one another. Nobody is perfect. Remember that. And remember what I used to say, you are from different spouse, you are from different parents. So we need to work our relationship, and we need to work our marriage. So that's the slogan we should take in. Perfect one is perfect. We need to work on our marriage, we need to work on our relationship, and we need to keep working on our children. Thank you very much for joining, everybody. I will see you same time next week Sunday. I'm going to see you by 7 p.m. next week Sunday, which is Father's Day. Ladies there, don't disappoint me. Have a lovely day and a lovely week and a wonderful week. God bless you. Take care. Bye.